Hey everybody, this is Sam again, founder of 3D Printforce. If you're following along in the series of video, you know we just added our first filament, and now here we are back on the dashboard page. And if we look here, we can see the filaments we added. And since we did that, we're going to go over here and say complete, yes, and we're going to get rid of that one, and we're going to move on to setting up our first printer. So we're going to navigate over to the printer. We have none found, so we're going to make a new printer. You're going to get prompted with this pop-up where you can select an existing printer that we have within the system. If you operate any of these, you can check box these and it'll add it to the system. Or if you have a new one not listed, you can click here to add your own printer. So I'm going to do the click here just so we can see the whole setup. We can see here it's a really clean dialog box that pops up and we just kind of plug in the information and hit save. So we're going to call this... I run a multiple P1S machines of Bambu Labs. We're going to call this P1S-1, our first one. It's a Bambu Labs, and it's a P1S. I think these are about $900 with the AMS, right? So I'm going to do that. Comes with a 0.4 nozzle size and the nozzle material. I believe it's just steel, right? I don't think the P1S comes with hardened steel, so we'll just say steel. And the build plate is textured PEI. Your kilowatt per hour, this is actually not the cost per kilowatt. We did that in the first step when we set up our account. This is how much power this machine uses when running. So a typical printer is going to have a max power consumption. That's usually what I put in here because I want to actually err on the side of more than less. So at the end of the day, if it doesn't use as much power as I put in here, I actually made more money. So I think the P1S, I know the X1 is at like 800 watts, which would be 0.8 kilowatts. I don't think the P1S is quite as much, so I'm going to do like 0.6. And then our maintenance an hour, again, this is going to be something that you need to determine yourself, but essentially, do you want to allocate money for every hour the machine is running so that you have a maintenance fund to use to replace hot ends, do build plates, things like that. I personally found 6 cents an hour per machine is a pretty good maintenance per hour. It's enough where by the time I'm replacing nozzles, I have enough set aside to take on that expense. If you have the AMS, you can fill in all 4 slots. If you don't, you can just fill in one. We can see here it auto shows our filaments that we created in the prior video. So we're going to do black in slot 1, white in slot 2, and then we'll put the green in slot 4, and we will hit save. And we can see here we have our 4 filaments, our grayed out one, which is empty, but we have black in 1, white in 2, green in 3. So another way you could do this, like I said, is you could do a new printer. If you had one of these machines, so for example, the Prusa XL, we could hit save, and now here we have the Prusa XL. You may want to come in here and just verify these things are correct. For example, it doesn't have a maintenance, so maybe we're going to say that the Prusa XL is a little bit, more costly maintenance. And you probably want to change the generic printer, and then you could, again, since this is a multi-material machine, these filament slots probably work for you. We are limited to 4. I don't know if the Max offers more than 4. I think maybe they have 5 filament heads, but for now we can offer 4. So maybe this one also holds the black and white, and we just kind of do our base stuff on there. So we hit save, and now we have 2 printers in our 3D Printforce system. A third option for creating a new printer is to actually duplicate an existing one. So like I said, I have 5 of these P1Ss, so I can just hit this duplicate here, and it'll duplicate a copy P1S1. I would want to go in here and probably, delete this part, change this to 2. Everything else is probably same. Maybe I got just black and white on this one too. Hit save, and now we have our P1S and our PS2, and that's the system for adding printers. You can add as many printers as you need to, so you have one printer that represents every printer in your farm, and you can put the filament colors on them if you want. You don't have to. It's just an option, so that way, if you're into being organized like that and you want to keep it updated, you can do it. So if you've been following along in the series, make sure to click the next one. We are going to be adding in some of our shipping profiles next.